nudged me to it. As I sat on their bouncy and comfortable leather seats, a very warm-looking lady in red handed me the menu. She has the most genuine smile. It took me a long time to realize the familiar face. It was Loribel Ochigi, the head chef of the resto, which I only knew a while later. She walked me through their best sellers, and in the end, my husband opted for the baby back ribs while I ordered the steak. We also got the complimentary dessert and the salad. Lori was so kind to inform us it will be ready in 13 minutes. The food was nonetheless scrumptious. It was the best I had in a week. When I asked for the bill, I was at awe, not because of the total, but because of the notes that came with it. Your orders are on the house, Emerald Jane, it read. It was by Emerald Jane, the owner of the restaurant. My heart swelled with gratitude and pride. My best friend, my idol, is now a restaurant owner. I insisted to have an opportunity to meet her in the kitchen. Dashing in her white apron in toki, she was personally managing the orders together with Loribel. I hugged her and said my thanks. We also caught up and told her for the upcoming reunion. Monday came and I was off to school. Wearing my Type A uniform, I traversed the busy hallways while occasionally greeting the students back of their good mornings. On the way to the office, I meet with a municipal doctor in duty at the school for the scheduled deworming of the pupils. She was Dr. Pauline Onyo, a resident doctor at Claveria who personally goes out of her way to help schools lessen learners affected by malnutrition. I told her of the upcoming alumni homecoming and she was ecstatic to join for a bit of kamustahan and catching up. Later that week, I contacted a BFP personnel to conduct a fire drill at school. I was surprised when they sent yet another familiar faces. Donning in their respective tactical uniforms are Chief Inspector Mark Maridago, Sergeant Hartwell Solcoretes, and Lieutenant Angela Lumotos. They inspected the school's evacuation plan, suggested sound entry and exit points, and conducted the proper use of fire extinguishers through demonstrations. Lieutenant Angela Lumotos was also kind to show several self-defense poses and moves to the pupils. When I told them of the upcoming alumni homecoming, they were more than eager and happy to join as well. Chief Inspector Mark Maridago was even donating lechon baboy, while Sergeant Hartwell pledged for the booze and drinks. They left just after they were done, and Lieutenant Angela Lumotos was called by her superior, the Deputy Chief herself in Misamis Oriental, Deputy Chief Charlie May Hanupol. She said, Deputy Chief Hanupol is in need of a competent police officer for the buy-bust operation and is assigning her and Sergeant Hartwell for the entrapment operation. They promised to attend their union though. Just before first period in the afternoon, my teachers got into a commotion while watching the TV. Turned out, they were watching the PBA. They were praising this one particular player from Gilas, Pilipinas, whose charisma and talent in three-point shots sweep off of the arena. I zoned in on the jersey of that player and at the back read, Butali. The familiarity of the surname hit me like yesterday. It was none other than John Lawrence Butalid, a classmate from high school I know very well. He seemed to have found his place in the court and still wore that sheepish grin as if taunting you. Together with him on the team is also my classmate from high school, John Carter Dalo. He expertly navigated the ball through many defenses and soared to score for 3 points. I clapped in Warby too when John Carter Dalo also scored 3 points in the remaining time of the fourth quarter. My fellow teachers were jumping with joy as well, as the announcer declared John Carter Dalo and John Lawrence Botalic's team as the winner. In the end, John Carter Dalo got the MVP award. I was interrupted when my assistant called me. Someone's outside looking for you, ma'am, he said. I briefly excused myself and got out. The first thing that caught my eye was the long, shiny, and lustrous hair neatly laid back in this person's back. This person, I couldn't see the face, yet was laughing alongside Doc Pauline. They seemed very familiar with each other. A total babe, I thought. The laugh was familiar too. May I know who is looking for me? I asked. That person turned around and my jaw almost fell. This was Danrix Cabonok, in the flesh with his long, lustrous black hair. Hi, I giddily said. His face excited. I jumped up at him and hugged him tightly. Turned out, he was advertising in behalf of the Royal Company. He remarked that I'd be more than happy to know who's with him, who is currently parking their Lamborghini and Ferrari in the school garage. And just as he said it, I saw two dashing ladies, necks strewn with golden jewelry and outfits screaming luxury from Chanel, Dior, and Saint Laurent, Llewellyn Awitin and Maria Fernanda Lago. Wow! They giddily came up to me and hugged me. I could almost smell heaven from their perfume scent. A little bit of kamustahan and the reunion was brought up. They too promised to join the reunion. Darrex also mentioned that he will tell Engineer Marjon Allarete, Engineer Jesse Labor, Engineer Crystal Jane Allarete, and Engineer Lady Laika Rayos of the upcoming alumni homecoming. Apparently, the four of them were working on Darrex's buildings, resorts and chains of companies he is set to build in Singapore, Palawan, Thailand, and in Australia. Danrex had a company based in Singapore. Its construction underway and is currently headed by Engineer Rayos. Engineer Marjon is working on Danrex Resort in Palawan, while Engineer Jesse is currently in Thailand for the construction of power plants. Finally, Engineer Crystal is in Australia to supervise Danrex chains of companies. Engineer Angel May Gambot is in a contractual job with the President of the Philippines. Apparently, she is to redesign the architecture of Malacanang Palace and the President personally asked her expertise of the matter. On my way home, it had become my habit to look at the looming skyscrapers. Out of the corner of my eye, two familiar faces caught my eye plastered on the billboard of Natubo. A duo boy band group that had gone viral for their original songs and witty compositions. Their strong charisma emanating every strum of the guitar, coupled with their angelic soulful voices, is what captivated me. Upon closer introspection, it turned out it was Aloy Dignos and Joe Anthony Dilhensya, both from humble backgrounds, elevated in alta sociedad with their sheer talents and pure determination. Their hit songs topped the Spotify and YouTube for weeks without end. In fact, they even got themselves avid fans from all over the country. The Mindanao chapter headed by Lini Laganya and Jillian Botali. Just as my husband and I reached Beverly Hills, our car got into trouble. Luckily, there was a police officer and a soldier manning the intersection. Descending from the military car is Police Officer Joseph Dairo and Ranger Angelo Lastimosa. They towed our car at the side of the road and fixed our flat tires. Police Officer Dairo was even so kind as to let us go with a ticket. We did a bit of catching up, and I told them of the reunion coming up before we went straight home. They asserted that they would join the reunion. When we reached Gumaod, vast cornfields stretched around the lake. Above its surface, a floating pasalubong center caught my eye. It serves corn delicacies from the bountiful harvest to its neighboring communities. Upon investigation, I learned that the floating pasalubong center was owned by Dimple Ladera in Jandalo. The vast cornfield adjacent to the lake was also owned by them. I urged Stephen to stop by for a few souvenirs and delicacies. You see, I am set to go to Manila as I was nominated to receive a Nobel Prize in Education. We shopped for a bit at the Pasalubong Center and caught up with the owners. Both are my classmates from high school. John Dalo and Dimple Ladera are both from humble backgrounds but rose to success after they applied their knowledge on commercial farming. The days went by and my schedule going to Manila is approaching. My good friend Kristen May Milicio, who is now a flight attendant, insisted that we go island hopping before my flight. She promised to cover my airplane fare. She even let me enjoy the business class of PAL. And to compensate her, we did go to Palawan at Danrix Estate at her behest. At the foot of El Nido, we were welcomed with a shirtless Brian Adrian Ladera spitting fires while pyro dancing. He was like a dancer from Adonis Bar. His moves salacious and full of gyrating. Kristen and I almost dropped our eyeballs to the salt water. Luckily, it was short-lived, and Brian Ladera quickly apologized for the trauma caused by his prank. The food was top-notch though, and we enjoyed the adventure moving from island to island. I also saw Rico Quintinita driving a luxurious cruise ship while island hopping. The cruise ship he was driving was twice the size of the Titanic in Glacier. He invited me to get on his ship and enjoy the experience. But unfortunately, I was in the rush to be at UP for the Nobel Prize. Going to UP, I was almost offloaded at the airport because I did not bring my graduation photo. Luckily, it was Franz Kervy Cabana who held me for questioning. Upon scrutiny, it was found that it was not actually necessary to have my grad photo with me, and I was able to attend and receive the award just fine in the University of the Philippines. Few months later, the diligent students of Ma'am Jonalyn Simacon are once again gathered at the Lux Hotel for the alumni homecoming. Everyone I invited is present. They are either successful or are doing well in their lives. Loud and boisterous laughter filled the function hall as we all reminisce our grade 10 experience at Gumaod Integrated School. It was truly magical and worth remembering. And the night ended with a positive note and with hope that tomorrow is another day to live life to the fullest. Yours truly, Micaela Empas.
Bigay sabihin. Ako na. Pakita din ang mga tao ah.
Thank you, Michaela, and just wow, I truly hope one or two of those predictions will come true. Imagine you turning out to be just the person as you are described in the prophecy. That would be enchanting indeed. Now, let us be more inspired with a message from our very own public schools district in charge, who is celebrating with us today, the ever gorgeous, soft-spoken, and admirable Dr. Maria Fidela C. Salvador. A big, big round of applause, please.